laugh, and love. Welcome to Living's International Women's Day panel discussion on celebrating life, the women's way. So today I have with me four fantastic ladies who I can't wait to start talking to. Of course, they need no introduction, but I'm going to do it very quickly anyway. On my left, I have Arukshi Rajapaksa, the president of the Zonta Club 2 of Colombo, and I have Vrai Raymond, the general manager and head of secretariat at AmCham Sri Lanka, Sonali, Crusz, wedding and event planner, and our favorite liability, Lulu. Welcome, ladies, and thank you so much for being here. So to break the ice, I'm going to throw my first question at all of you, like a round robin. Celebrating life. We love it here at Living. So what does it mean to celebrate life as a woman?
To me personally, I think the woman plays so many roles that so many facets of a woman's life is so integral to just day-to-day living. I think everything should be celebrated. For me, this particular year, I think I've been honored and humbled to be the president of the Zonta Club 2 of Colombo for the next 2 years. And I've got this amazing set of women supporting me to help build a better world for women and girls. So that's what it is for me this year.
Thank you, Arukshi. Rai, how about you?
Interesting question. So I looked at it from 2 points of view. Is it about celebrating the gift of life, or is it celebrating the quality of life? For me, I've learned, and I think maybe especially through COVID opening eyes to so many things, the value of every moment of life. And I think every moment is precious and a gift. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all predestined, predetermined. It's about how you face it, how you accept it. So I really feel that every moment of life should be celebrated in whatever way or form it has come to you.
Thank you. Sonali?
Completely agree with Rai. It's definitely living in the moment, living every moment, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly, right? The good obviously makes us happy, so then it's so much better when you're always happy. The bad teaches us faith, hopefulness, which is something I think you can't live without, right? That's part and parcel of life. And the ugly, actually, you have to have that, because that in the end makes us human. That makes us who we are. The strong woman, the not so strong woman, because we've got so many expectations, so many roles to fill. So you have to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And living every moment to the fullest is something you have to do.
Yeah, if I'm going to go last for every question, they've already covered everything. I don't know that I can say it any better, but I think as Vrai mentioned, like especially post-COVID, I think it's appreciating the freedom that we have to celebrate anything at all is, just not taking that for granted anymore, given how limited and how restricted we were for so long. I mean, and then we went through obviously our own, like as Sri Lankans, we went through our own struggles as well. But yeah, I think just having the freedom to celebrate or not, whether we choose to, is definitely the most, very important.
Thank you, Lulu. So I'm going to start with you next, since you already have the mic. Let's go to the workplace. What do you think are the main characteristics that really differentiates women from men? The good, the bad, and the ugly, anything.
I don't know, do we want to identify like as many differences as we can, or do we just want to?
Anything that you think, I mean, we always say, it's all about equity, everybody's fair, but if you were to note any differences between women
So you often get that stereotype, right? Oh, if you have lots of women in the workplace, it's very dramatic, and it's very like high kind of drama. But I don't know whether that's because women actually talk about things, and if like you have a problem or you have a concern, you actually voice it, and men just interpret that as like any kind of drama or like emotion expression. I don't know, but I think there's more capacity for us to actually discuss a problem or a situation and come to some kind of resolution rather than just letting things sit.
Right?
Yeah, if I could just jump in a bit on that. I was thinking in terms of a positive attribute. Everything that I've seen, whether it's like in a larger work setting or if it's just a professional, I feel that women are stretchable, if that's a word. We would
elastic.
even more than the multitasking, we would expand to take on more and more to the maximum capacity. And not that men don't or can't, but I feel that women are just inherently able to juggle more and take on more, maybe slightly more competently than men are. So stretchable, not even elasticity, but stretchable is the word I'm coming up with. Yeah, good point.
Sonali, you have a very different kind of workplace now.
I do. For me, I think the fact that, like Rai says, we multitask, we are stretchable, we have a lot of elasticity. But at the same time, it is because we're expected to, right? Because we wear so many hats at different times of the day, sometimes double, triple hats, like a working mom to a sister to the wife to daughter, right? So obviously there's a lot, whereas I'm not taking away from the men, obviously, because they have their own roles to play, but in society, when you look at a woman, you've got that woman taking on so many different facets in life while being so graceful and so poised, as opposed to sometimes, I must say, the man doesn't, right?
And also in heels most of the time.
Of course. Hello.
Very true, having to look glamorous and perfect as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to turn to Arukshi for the next question. So this year's International Women's Day, the hashtag is Embrace Equity. What is your take on it?
I think it's great that we are going down that road, because all this time we've been talking about equality. So it's about the same thing to everybody, but whereas equity is about identifying the strengths and weaknesses of each person and then tailor making what would suit them and what would be best to empower each individual person, whether it be man or woman. So I think it's great that we are having this conversation. It's great that we are going from equality to the next step of equity. So I'm really happy about that.
Lulu, what does equity mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, as she said, like, it's not giving, obviously it's giving the same opportunities to everyone, but it's also identifying where people have less privilege or less opportunity to perhaps compensate for that by giving them a little bit more, because we have obviously so many different social strata, and not all of us get, I think I'm sitting in a group of very privileged ladies, but not everyone gets that opportunity. So it's to the next step, like you said, obviously equality is the first step, but then equity is now identifying, like, doing a deep dive even further.
Perfect. Sonali, I'm going to ask the tough question from you, which I heard is going to be tough for everyone. What makes you happiest these days?
Tough one. Happiest actually for me as a mom is seeing my kids excel in whatever they do. Happier when I can kind of guide them and do it the way I want. But at the same time, it's also about being able to manage everything that goes on around me and somehow or the other find a positive in it, just to keep myself going, So kids definitely is my go-to to be happy. Bad day, good day, really good day, they make it excellent. So yeah, happiest is when I'm at home with them and my day is over.
Your kids are little, big? Because mine
13 and 10.
Oh, okay. So mine are like at the stage where teenage is the worst possible word, and I'm like, I think happy place would be when I'm not with them. I know it sounds horrible to say, but I mean, so I'm talking 17, 19, 20. So those stages are tough, as as pretty much, yeah. So yeah, wow, well done to you.
Thank you.
Right, if I ask you, anything else that makes you really happy these days?
For me, honestly, it's always been the same thing, and I hope that it will continue to be the same thing, and that is cooking. Get me in a kitchen, and I'm just
Wow.
zen. I love it.
We're getting ideas for our next panel discussion. So, just to go back to a slightly, I mean, we're talking about the happy stuff. but we also have all the challenges. I mean, I think the four of you are like testimony to self empowerment. But when you were going there on that journey, what would you say was like the biggest obstacle or the biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it? Lulu, can we start with you?
I don't know that there's an end point. I think we're still.
It's a
I can't speak for the others, but I'm still on it. But I think it's just that self-doubt, like that constant, like, like even to come on this panel, I asked Tanya, I was like, why am I on this panel? And she was like, just shut up and come, don't ask too many questions. But yeah, it's just that, I guess, I mean, it's in the zeitgeist, but imposter syndrome, like constantly kind of doubting yourself. It's just going and doing it, just giving it a go and seeing what happens. It's, I think that's the most empowering thing, is when you're like, you know what, not afraid to fail, like we'll just give it a try.
Arukshi, what about you?
I think at different points of my career and the journey so far, I think it has been different things. I think at the beginning it's a lot of self-doubt as well, like, and am I good enough for this, or do I understand this very well? But then as you go on in your career, sometimes you also get the whole glass ceiling factor that comes in, and that is real, and so where you are viewed as, oh, she's a woman, will she take on certain challenges, or you come head to head with a boss who does not appreciate like the maybe the view that a woman would bring in, and those things. But then it's just about understanding that there isn't just one particular path for you can change your life, your goals, whatever. You don't have to be in a corporate role all the time. You can move from that to entrepreneurship or whatever that. But finally, it's about what makes you happy, what keeps you creative, what keeps your senses flowing. I think that is very important. And so that is.
Sonali, moving from a corporate role to entrepreneurship, what were your obstacles and how did you overcome them?
So yeah, basically same thing. From like school time, I mean, I've known Arukshi from school. She's my batchmate, so she will vouch for this. I have a big mouth. I'm always outspoken. I am loud. I voice my opinions. So many of them have told me, quiet down, keep it to yourself, And sometimes, actually, that has made me who I am. And in the corporate world, like rightly said, Arukshi said, you'll probably have a boss that will question you, a boss that will always try to intimidate you, someone else in your team who is scared of you or threatened by you. And at one point, you're thinking, I've got talent. I can do whatever I want because that's what I'm here for. Whether I'm a man, a woman, a child, it doesn't matter. I have strengths, let's play to it. And that's when I decided, time to say goodbye to the corporate world and, start being me, be loud, be energetic, be the fun person I am, because events is my passion. So it's good that I have a big mouth sometimes. Most often. It's good to be loud because, I mean, sometimes you just have to be, and that's how it is, and it makes me happy. So at one point, you just have to stop being scared and just go out there and be you.
Right. You're in a completely different arena.
So yeah, I guess over my life and career, I've seen maybe three things that have been particularly challenging. One is definitely imposter syndrome. Again, even right now, despite knowing your own achievements and capabilities and strengths, you still sit, especially when you're surrounded by strong, amazing human beings like the lady seated here, and you still sit and think, hey, do I have the right to be here? Do I have a right? So that's definitely one of it. And I think that's something that we all deal with, but also something that maybe is a point for us to consider. Are we empowering ourselves and each other enough to get through that and get past that? The second one that I've had to kind of battle with, maybe especially over the last decade, is being a single mom. And the unconscious bias that comes from that. I know I can deliver. Sometimes I know that I can deliver 120% of what you're asking me to deliver. But I see that doubt that's in the across the table in the boardroom. I see that, and even after you've proved it, even after you've achieved it, it's still there. Like, okay, you did it that day, but do you think you can do it this day? Can you think this year is going to be the same? That unconscious bias is there. I think it's changing, but it's something we've had to battle with. The other one is in terms of leadership roles. Like she was saying earlier, there'll always, that kind of I picked up on, there'll always be someone who's fighting your leadership style as well. So that's another one. Are you being, especially as a woman, are you being too empathetic of a leader?
Too soft.
And is that being, so that those are the three that I've seen challenging me the most personally.
Lovely, thanks. Rai, you set the stage for my next question. So I'm going to start with you again. Women for women. When you look at the local setting, I mean, taking all of Sri Lanka, do you think we are helping each other enough?
In terms of corporate, I think there's more that can be done. I feel that several of the women who've actually reached a pinnacle or a certain point where they can be doing a lot to empower other women, to a certain extent, I find them, and this is coming from a situation or a background where actually I have easy access, I find them to be less approachable than we would like them to be. So maybe at the upper corporate strata, there should be more mentoring and more approachability. Even sometimes it comes from the person itself, where you feel too intimidated to walk up to someone and speak to them. But I think that's also something we can work on, where we kind of, our energy should be welcoming. So that's one thing I think that maybe can happen. In general and overall, I do see women uplifting women, reaching out and helping a lot more. If it's entrepreneurship, if it's supporting an entrepreneurship network, I do see a lot more than there was before. There's always room for improvement. I think you can always do more, but I do think that we are doing it and should continue to do it.
Thank you. Lulu, what do you think?
We only benefit from there being more of us in this space. Like, I mean, whether it's competition, whether it's support, like, you don't benefit if you're at the top and you're all by yourself. So yeah, I think, I feel like, I mean, even just little things, like I feel like after this our excursion, like I could call these ladies and be like, hey, I'm doing this thing, or hey, I'd like some advice. And we've literally just all met. But I think there is, obviously, as Vrai said, there's always room for improvement and for more. But I mean, we always want more, right? That's
Always. Now I'm going to go to one of those dreaded questions we were talking about. And I'm going to start with Arukshi and make sure everyone answers. What have you done for the first time recently?
Like I said, that took me a little while. I think that one question that I had to really go back to spending some time thinking about, because I believe this whole year, or even the year leading, has been such a tough year for Sri Lanka, and we've all had to, just survive. I think most of us have been in survival mode. So, but in terms of something I did try, I would say it's the AI tools that are currently available. Started off with ChatGPT and then just realized there's so much more that that I didn't know about, and I felt a little stupid also. But anyway, better late than never. So just trying those out and just understanding, where technology is going and where it has already gone, and just it's been an amazing learning experience the last few months.
Lovely. Rai, what about you?
Okay, so for me, again, that was one that, so I'm late this morning because I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about this question. But no, honestly, it was actually only after getting here that the answer hit. And I'm going from uber progressive, where you were, to kind of the other direction. I discovered, and happily so, a little place next door which does crystals. And I had my aura read, I had my kids' auras read, and we've really found that It's been an eye-opening experience, and it's also helped all of us. So that would be the new thing I discovered that's really helped us as well.
Lovely, lovely. Now Sonali's like, I need to get an appointment.
I'm actually hopping across for an aura reading after this.
Actually, quite honestly, I haven't tried anything new as yet. But in the event space that I am in right now, I'm looking to going out as for experiential events. And I want that space to kind of improve here. So getting a lot of input from lots of friends who are already in the industry, including one of my very good friends, who's basically helped me also put up my company. So together with her, I'm trying that. Let's see how it goes. Just going back, women for women. Sorry. Like I said, this friend of mine who's always been there to, help me out. I think it's we who need to make that change. We can't keep saying, it needs to improve or it is improving, but it can get better. It's in our hands. I try as much as I possibly can to help or promote or talk or mentor somebody who's like either coming into the industry or needs something. And sometimes if it's reciprocated, the fact that I feel good that somebody, said my name or said to come to me makes me happy, right? So that means technically when I do it to somebody else, it obviously makes that person happy. And happiness always continues. So start by doing it yourself, and then you can see the change automatically happening.
Thank you, thank you. Lulu, first thing.
Also thinking about this question. And it's not something new, but it's something that I'm trying to do more of that I haven't before, is to say no, to push back a little bit. And it's not to be rude, or it's not to sort of, I don't know, it's just to kind of be a little bit more, what's the word? Yes, be a bit more careful with your energy and how you spend. Not energy in like kind of like a very esoteric way, but just literally like the time that you spend doing things, being a little bit more discerning in what you spend your time with or on, and who you spend your time with. It just makes for a much happier interaction when you do choose to spend time with someone, because also I started to enjoy my own company a little bit more than I have done in previous years. And I'm like, okay, if this is not the same as just sitting by myself, I don't really want to do it. If it's not better than this, then I'm not doing it.
Wow, I love that. I should hang it on my wall. So ladies, I'm going to throw a question, but I'm not going to, say any name here. What's that one thing you wish someone had told you, good, bad, or ugly?
Don't date him. Don't do it.
But then would you have not?
I probably wouldn't have listened.
There you go. I find that the moment you say don't do it, that's when we're like, doing this.
Actually, yes. Oh, yeah. A lot of things I've done just in opposition to what someone was telling me.
In my case, I think it's enjoy the journey. I think because the destinations will come, but I think it's a matter of enjoying the journey. And I think when you get a little older, that's what you realize. So
I think for me, it's something we all should be doing, which is saying well done. We don't do it enough, and sometimes we end up. We know we've done it or we've achieved it, but then that's just us. And sometimes having someone else just look at you and say, "Well done, you did a good job." However little it may be even just a sandwich that you've made, but just to feel appreciated, I think that's something that I wish people would do more of.
I think they've covered everything. Like Lulu says, when you're the last one, honestly, it's like But one other thing that I wish someone had told me was to leave the corporate world a little earlier and to start on my own, because I was scared. But I wish somebody had pushed me a little bit more, because I would have enjoyed the ride a lot earlier.
The journey.
I wish someone had told me there's some merit in our culture in struggling and if a situation is hard, just like persevering beyond the point of like reason. I wish someone would be like, okay, if it's really tough, you can like step away or like quit that job or leave that situation. Like it's okay, because not to say like you should just like quit whenever something's really tough, but it doesn't have to be so hard all the time. Like I also like left, like several corporate jobs in several different industries, and now what I do now, like I'm so much happier. And I just wish someone had like told me, you know what, it doesn't have to always be like a real struggle. Because there is merit in someone saying, oh my God, I didn't finish work till 9, and I have to work the weekend, and like why? If you can't do your job in the allotted hours, then think about something else.
If I can just add something to that, I'm a firm believer that things happen when they're meant to happen. And as much as we would maybe have appreciated in hindsight, maybe it would have helped for someone to give you that push. You may not be where you are today if it happened before it was the right time for you. So
That's true.
take that also as a positive.
Just edit that off.
No, but I do get what you mean, it's but you need to be empowered to say I'm done when you need to do that, rather than feeling like, okay, no, I have to slog more, I have to, that whole, my God, this thing that's inculcated in us about just around the other bend, just around the next bend. When you're too tired, you need to
Just step back.
accept that you're too tired and just take a step back.
All right. I'm not going to ask the 1 to 10 thing. Thank you. I'm not going to ask that. Just a quick, fun, quick round robin. Your most guilty pleasure. Your most guiltiest pleasure.
Beautiful footwear.
But it's not available anymore. That's the
I know
biggest- now it's like looking at beautiful
that's why it makes
footwear.
it so much more guilty, because you're always
my
trying to
gosh.
get it from somewhere.
Yes. But also another question: when you do get it, where do you wear it?
Good point.
Things
I
have got
lost,
so-
I lost so many good shoes during COVID.
Same. I think same situation, all of us.
And then you're like, do I really need to buy this so that it will happen again?
You think to yourself, yes, I really need to buy it because I need it.
And it's gorgeous. I mean, it needs no explanation. I think everybody's going to agree with you on that one.
I have one.
Yes.
Spa day. I mean, a spa day. Doesn't that say everything when you say a spa day?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking right off the top of my head here, but having to like not set an alarm for like going to sleep, knowing that you can just wake up when. I mean, you guys have kids, so I don't know what y'all do, but like, going to sleep. I mean, I asked Tanya to give me a wake up call this morning because my alarm and I are in a very toxic relationship. But going to sleep and just be like, I can just wake up whenever I want. Awesome.
Rai, you have a very...
I actually don't have an answer to that.
You're not guilty
Um,
of any pleasure.
So normally my answer to that would probably be sweets or chocolates, which is a very generic answer, but it's also not true. If I try to think about it, it's also not true because, so remember I said that I love to cook?
I was just going to ask,
Yeah.
you eat what you cook?
The thing is, no, I don't like to eat. I'm a foodie. I love food. I just don't like to eat it. So,
We don't
I
do-
know, that's just very strange. I know, I love to cook it. I love to plate it. I love to take pictures of it. I love to taste it. But I don't really enjoy eating per se. So, I don't have an answer.
I'm definitely guilty of that, but I eat it at the end of the day because it's like, okay, don't touch, take the photograph, now eat, quickly.
Before I get to it.
Wow, this has been so insightful in another level. Ladies, seriously, thank you so much. But before I let you go, we are celebrating International Women's Day in 2023. Kind of sad that we still have to celebrate it because, there's a... Anyway, let's not go there. But what is your message to girls, especially young girls coming up and women all over there, on how they can really celebrate life?
I believe, as I said before, enjoy the journey. Your destination can change from time to time, depending on your goals. Be creative. If you are love what you're doing, be passionate about what you're doing, because that's the only way that you will truly see success in your career, like if you, in your work. And just enjoy the journey. There are lots of women out there who are willing to help. If you're looking for mentors, if you're looking for somebody to guide you, there is a lot of resources out there, and especially now with the social channels that we have, I think you can connect to so many. Especially, I am a part of the Zonta Club 2 of Colombo. I think most of our members are much more senior to me, but the way they are guiding me, the way they are empowering me, even though I'm probably one of the younger people within the club, but still there's so much of respect, and I'm learning so much from them, because as much as they have advice and guidance, they also know to let you shine, let you take that role. So like that, there is many women out there who are willing and who want to help. So just reach out to whoever you think that might be able to help you. I think because we have, I think from school time as well, we have this culture of holding back, not wanting to ask, and saying maybe we shouldn't, but just take a little step to reach out, because you will find a lot of good advice and guidance to take you through your journey.
Thank you, Arukshi. So, Rai, going to you. What is your message?
I actually have 3. Sorry, I thought you're the one with the big mouth here. Okay, the first is something that I try to live by, and I find that it makes for a so much less stressful life and less stressful day, and that is to simply do your best and leave the rest. In everything that you do every day, try to be the best person that you can be, and that does not mean being perfect. It means waking up in the morning. If you've had a bad, the previous day was bad, or you wake up to some bad news or something. It actually happened to me yesterday. I went to sleep the previous night with a headache. I woke up with a little bit of a dull headache, and before I got out of bed, there was already a message with some disappointing news on something that I had been anticipating for a while. And before I got out of bed, I had tears rolling down my face. I still got up and I went and I looked in the mirror, and I think what we need to understand is I'm a beautiful mess. That's what I am. I'm not a perfect human being. I'm not a perfect woman, mother, wife, whatever you want to call it. I have issues, problems, failings. I'm not confident about something. There's so many different things, but all I can do is the best that I can do today for myself, for my kids, for my family, for my work, for my friends. And that's something I think that will take us through every day, and something that I really encourage everybody else to do. The second thing would be, as women, to embrace the power that we have, which is absolute. Nobody else has the power that we have, because that saying, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world, is not a joke. If we want to complain about what's happening in society or politics or in economy or whatever it is, ultimately, we hold the key to change, because by empowering and changing the next generation, we can change the future for everybody. And I think that's an absolute power that we know is there, but do we actually embrace it and use it? And I think women, young girls, people who are entering motherhood, people who have little kids who are at a stage that you can teach them equity, equality, all of it. You can start now and build, everything that we complain about now, let the future generations be a change to that. So that's the second thing. And I knew I had a third point, but I have no idea what it was. So let's just leave it at 2.
Yeah, 2. Thank you. Thank you very much.
For me, again, it's about respect. Respect each other, always. And don't be scared to ask for help. If you're going through a bad situation, if you're going through a difficult situation, those days it used to be, come to me. Mama used to say, you come to me, don't go to anybody else. I think you need to stop saying that. And if you are comfortable in going and talking to your best friend, your husband, or the next door neighbor, talk. because given the present situation with such a lot of, things happening, life being so short, right? Don't carry your burdens alone because you really don't need to. There is help out there. Ask for it. There are people out there. Ask for it. Reach out and just wear each other's crowns. We are all wearing a crown. That crown is heavy, whether you want it to be a small crown, a big crown, a medium crown. When you start looking at another woman and thinking she is also going through difficulty, she's not all that beautiful mess, you will realize you're also part of that. You're nothing special, nothing different. Every one of us is, battling something. Reach out, speak, come out, ask for help, and also help back. If somebody asks, don't hesitate to help. Don't hesitate to give a solution. It may not be the best solution, but give it anyway. Voice your opinion. Don't be scared. Whether you are just coming in out of A-levels, whether you are just going into a new job, whatever it is, you've got it. You've got it. I mean, there is nothing stopping you. Just go for it.
I remembered my third point.
Always, we are empowering each other.
Sorry, what I was going to say as a third point was pay it forward. When you do something for someone, first and foremost, don't expect anything in return. But if for instance, someone were to say, hey, I really appreciate what you did for me. Can I, send you flowers, or can I do this? Just, even as a gesture, saying thank you is enough for me. Please pay it forward. Do something for someone else, empower someone else in some way. And I think that's the way that we'll kind of create a just and equitable society.
Lovely.
Is to try anything for two reasons. One is that the more things that you try, the closer you will get to figuring out what it is that you like, what it is that you want. And that will change obviously throughout your whole life, but when you find that thing, life is a lot more fun and a lot easier. And the second reason is that if you try something new, you'll either be good at it or you'll suck. If you're good at it, great. If you suck, you have an opportunity to ask somebody, okay, why did I suck at this? And what can I do to be better? Like, don't wait till you think you're ready for the next step and then go to the next step. Because I feel like, especially for girls, we're taught to be perfect, not to fail. And it's not that cliche of, you learn from your mistakes, but you do. You learn a lot more from being bad at something than, because you figure out you're bad at that thing and, okay, maybe I won't try that. Or you're like, oh, okay, someone can teach me how to do this better. But yeah, I think that's just because the opportunities are there, especially in a country, in a community as small as ours. You just need to try.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. This has been the most fun and yet insightful, revealing
And loud.
discussion.
You say that to all the girls.
So thank you so much for being here with us. Arukshi, Rai, Sonali and Lulu, you really made our day. Thank you very much. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us. And until next time, celebrate life.